What's going on, y'all? Thanks for checking in with Callie. Please like, subscribe if you haven't already. So, I'll be reading a lot of posts and a lot of sites and hearing different things about different players. And I always like to comment on things that I see and things that I hear about as well to you guys. Because, I love our conversation. I love our community. And hopefully it keeps growing. And hopefully you guys want to come back because I want to hear from you. And I definitely want to grow with you and do this together. So I was hearing or reading article, or maybe not article, you could say a site, but it kind of sort of is like a newspaper kind of sort of article, The Athletic. That's how they kind of carry their site and stuff like that. But on the site, it was saying basically, how did Kawhi come back to complete basketball so fast? How did Kawhi get back to how he was pretty much so fast? And it looks like he's just developing quicker than what people might have even actually thought, especially with restricted minutes. And when I was reading it, hearing different comments from different people, it's always cool to hear different people's insights and things like that. But people have to realize Kawhi Leonard is a guy who really wants to play basketball. This notion about Kawhi Leonard being just a load management guru and don't like to play basketball, don't want to play, don't ever want to be there, all those things I believe are 110% false. Kawhi wants to be out there. His teammates have said it. Superstar other players who've actually played with Kawhi have said it. They all know Kawhi wants to be out there. He wants to be a part of something big all the time because he wants to be one of the greats, even though he already is. He wants to extend his greatness as much as he can. And I think a lot of the media, deteriorate some of his greatness because they use the load management as a reference to basically brainwash a lot of fans of how great he is and how great he has been for a long time, especially when you hear idiots like Stephen A. Smith and some others who follow him and following his trend of what he says about Kawhi Leonard. It just makes Kawhi look a certain type way. But we all know how great Kawhi could be when he's right. He is a top 3, top 5 player when he's right. To me, he's the best player in the league. And right now, even with limited minutes, he's showing his effect. The Clippers have won most of the games that he's played in. He only lost like 1 or 2 games since he's been back. And it's like you're like 4 or 5 and 2 with him on the floor. And he just makes so much of a difference because he allows everybody to play within their own position, but he allows everybody to play off also, because you could make a mistake on defense and miss an assignment. And with Kawhi being there, his presence makes it so easy for you to be able to recover because people do not like to dribble too much around Kawhi. They don't like to show their handle. They don't like to do too much. They like to get straight to the basket and score because Kawhi is such a threat of causing turnovers and getting steals, in which he's led the league in steals before. It's crazy how good he's always been with that and still is. So, teams look at Kawhi in a different way and they play the Clippers a lot different when Kawhi is on the floor because of his presence. And that just goes to show how great of a player he is and how much his greatness resides on both ends of the floor. Now, of course, we know he can drop 25, 30 points a game if he wants to, but the efficiency that he does it is at a crazy rate, especially even in the playoffs, is always higher, which is even crazier to even think. But at the same time, Kawhi plays within his means. The reason why he can always come back and look like he's basically right back at the same level is because he plays high IQ basketball and he knows exactly what he's doing at every point. And what I mean by that is he's almost like he's very precise in what he does and very concise at what he does. He doesn't waste dribbles. If he's dribbling 4 or 5 times, he's going to the basket or getting into his office right there at the mid range to score, or he might actually find somebody, off a nice pass if it's a double team coming his way. Kawhi knows exactly what he's doing. He doesn't waste any time. He doesn't waste any thoughts. He doesn't waste any space. And that's why I feel like his game is always going to be one of those games where he can just come back and look like he did before. On top of that, he's not really a huge athletic guy. He doesn't use a lot of his athleticism every single night. He's more or less, get the job done, shoot, kill, knock down a 3-pointer, catch and shoot. He's easy to play with too, because it's like I said, he's such a good shooter. He can catch and shoot from the perimeter. He can isolate, in the paint, 17 feet from the basket. He runs, he moves without the ball very well. And he is a willing passer too. So, he's almost like a team guy, team fun guy, along with a superstar, like all in one. So, I mean, when it's not hard to play with a player who definitely has a lot in their arsenal, it makes it easy for them to come back. Almost like I would say Kevin Durant is another one. Kevin Durant will always really be effective because he works in the mid-range just like Kawhi does and works his way out to the three-point line. He's a deadly shooter. If you leave him out there at the three-point line, he'll hurt you. Same thing with Kawhi Leonard. They almost got like the same kind of sort of, offensive, way of thinking, but even though their bag is different because Kawhi scores differently. He's not as flashy. Kevin Durant could be a little bit more flashy, but Kawhi is just as effective, if not more effective, because Kawhi can definitely do things Kevin Durant can't do. And I'll say maybe Kevin Durant might can do one or two things Kawhi can't do, but I mean, Kawhi's bag is just way different than everybody else's in the NBA, just to be honest with you. So, I mean, to me, he's always going to come back no matter what the injury. As long as he can play, he'll always be effective because he just commands so much respect on the floor, on both ends of the floor, unlike any other player. Him just being out there makes a team better. So if you add his scoring with that, along with his defense, which might not be as good as it used to be in the past, but it's still good enough to affect the team's operation of offense, the opposing team that he's playing against, because they respect who he is, they know what he is, and his length, his wingspan, and he still can rip the ball from you at any time. He still can cause disruptions, and he's still good at getting steals and going on the fast break and getting the one-handed dunk. So, I mean, with all that being said, Kawhi is always going to be a great player, is always going to be valuable until he can't walk ever again, because like I said, as long as he can walk and play basketball, his effect is always going to be known and it's always going to be felt when he's on the court.